Hi all. Right, back with more Normandy at the beginning and the end, using the Alone in the Storm solo scenario, playing scenario 2, German counterattack. This is my part 2. I was just editing some of my videos there. I noticed it's quite a long-winded title to these games. If you're trying to explain that it's Normandy at the beginning and the end, Alone in the Storm solo, and then I noticed that I hadn't really noted that it was scenario 1 that I was doing before, so I've edited all my videos on YouTube. I was going about it on BGG there as well. Just put a wee S1 in between just after the Normandy at the beginning and the end. Just say it was scenario 1 because I've clearly got to differentiate that between this one. So this will have an S2 in it. And I just put S2 rather than scenario 2 because it's long enough. So hopefully that doesn't cause any trouble or anything. Like I say, I've not got all the ones done on BGG yet. It's not really that hard work. There's only 20 parts, so, but it's just I wanted to get this started. Okay. Well, I also went and popped a question out there on BGG. Unfortunately, it is on Alone in the Storm because it is regarding just the solo part, and it is just to find out about the victory points for these road hexes. Well, not only that, it was a 2-part question. Basically, the first part is, do each of these count as 2 victory points? When it says the main road counts as 2 victory points, except for the already mentioned hexes. Or is it, for some reason, the whole road that counts? But I don't know. Maybe it could be, and maybe it's got to be cleared enemy troops to have 2. But why would it say except for the other mentioned hexes? It wouldn't need to say that, I don't think. Or would it? Does that make sense? I'm not sure. So I've asked that part of the question. The other half of the question was, are the Americans considered to control all these hexes before the Germans actually come on the map? And if they are considered to be controlling them, does that mean that these Americans here have? Now it doesn't state that they've got to take any other villages. It does state the bridges though. And I think we do have one bridge back here, is it? Yeah. So, we've got an American unit in that bridge. Does that count for a victory point for the Americans right now as well? And are they considered to control all these road hexes? And if they are, if this is worth 2 victory points, and this is only to calculate the rush resistance value. I get that. It's nothing to do with the outcome of the game, because the outcome of the game is the victory conditions are the German player must clean. It says clean. I'm assuming that means clear. Again, just maybe lost in translation there, but the German player must clear the main road from D800 to D817. So it's got to clear it, which, with this whole bit about the Americans not being allowed to be adjacent and whatever, I think it means get the Americans off the road, so there's none of them on the road. And it has to take control of all the bridges on that road. Yeah, I think it includes them all. And as well as the town 804 and 805. That's only these ones here. Yeah. So it doesn't. We don't then count up victory points. Even victory points for step losses aren't going to come into this. That's the actual victory conditions. It's nothing to do with victory points. However, when you're calculating rush resistance value, you either base it on the objective hexes. Now, there's no talk of objective hexes there. However, they clearly are objectives for the Germans to take. So that's a fair point as well. But then why does it talk about the roads? These 2 towns. And by the way, it says town hexes. Well, hang on. Yeah, that's dispersed buildings anyway, isn't there? Is this not a town though? No, it's not. So in actual fact, these are the only 2. Well, that's a dispersed building as well. So I'm not awfully sure if this counts as well. This is through the road. Does that count as a town hex for 1 victory point? And the bridges all count as 1 victory point. So if we're counting up them, I mean, they've got to take them. Are they objectives then? So do we base the rush resistance value on objective victory points and not step loss victory points again? I don't know. Because it doesn't call them objectives, although they clearly are required for the Germans to win the scenario. So there's another one that I'm not sure. I mean, because, well, hold on. Yeah, no, because it's telling you what these are all worth. But then it's also mentioning 2 victory points per road hex, or for the road. Yeah, let's see if I get some answer back to that question. Or I'm just about to upload part 1. I watched it over this morning and got it finished because I want to get out there in the hope that somebody might try and help me out with it. Because I think I've left these questions in part 1 already. Let's see. Okay, so still a bit unsure about quite a lot, to be honest, but and I reckon there's more to come. But anyway, okay, let's carry on. Well, I realised watching back that I'm going to sort of rewind a little here. Not that we've actually moved on, but because the reason I'm going to rewind is I'm as well attempting to not only identify that, but have a reaction against that. Because the Americans aren't getting a shot this turn. So if he gets marked as finished, then at the end of the turn, we're not going to be able to activate him and do anything anyway, because it states that, doesn't it? That's in the actual main scenario rules. American player deploys first. Americans are caught by surprise. That's the first 3 turns. The Allies are treated as green troops. The German player is attacker and is the only one activating units during the first turn. That's the only bit it states it, I think. But I mean, it does state it there. You would. I kind of wish it said the American player does not get a first turn under its special rules, but I suppose that does. I mean, am I being picky there? The fact that it just got something under special rules, German player. The German player is the attacker and is the only one activating units during the first turn. That's kind of clear, Grant, isn't it? So it means Americans don't get to activate during the first turn. However, the question was asked out there, are they allowed to react? And the answer, although I don't believe it was from anybody official as such, but you've got to take what answers you get, I think, in this game, because again, the support isn't really there, so you're going to have to just, I know there's a guy answered a couple of my questions, but to be honest, the first one, that was, what he said contradicted what it said in the rule book, so I was not comfortable with that one. But if there's anything that isn't clearly written in the rule book and somebody has a stab at, this is how it is, or if they're just taking a chance with it, then I'm going to have to just go with that and believe in it, and until somebody official comes along and says otherwise. So like I say, I asked the question about are the Americans allowed to react, and the answer was yes. And of course they can react if they've got reaction markers or not, but they get half firepower if they've not. And of course they've not got reaction markers, they can't have reaction markers. Anyway, Grant. Okay, so I'm going to rewind to the end of the German activation here, and we're going to attempt to identify this. Now, if we successfully identify it, or actually, is it either or? Well, it has to be, Grant, because if you fail to identify it, it's still an intel marker and you can't shoot it. So there you go. Let's find this bit. It's beside the recon. Where are we? Look at the right rulebook. Yes, I am. Recon mission. Right. Identifying intel markers. Page 17. Yeah, I'm going to refrain a little from showing rules in the rulebook and that now, and make it clear. I mean, if any of you are watching this, I might be reading it and I'll highlight the page and probably the rule where it's at, and but rather than swing the camera down and all that, I might do it for some bits. But we've went over this before in the first part anyway, the first scenario. So it says during AI side activation, when an intel marker is moving, player forces can try to react to those movements. At that time, you may try to identify the AI force, and if successful, your player force must react to the movement in that hex. That's it, yeah. So, I'm sorry, that was page 17, 8.3, identifying intel markers. And that was the second way of doing it. There's 3 different ways you can do it. So, yeah, go and have a go at that. Now, that's just a simple case of... there's a small chart. Finding where that is. There it is there. So, it's this here down the bottom. So, we're not doing a recon mission. So, it's an identification attempt we're doing. Now, hexes wise, we are 1, 2, 3 hexes away. So unfortunately, yeah, that is going to make it harder, isn't it? You can see that 1 to 2 hexes away, an 8 or greater would cause us to fail. But because it's 3 to 4 hexes away, a 6 or greater is going to cause us to fail. This is a D10 roll. So yeah, but I'm as well taking it on because... I mean, okay, one of these other forces could come up towards this, maybe, but as we've already seen, if it's going to get all that distance, it's going to have to follow the roads, and it can't sneak off the roads because of all the blockage. I mean, once it gets here, and if it wants to move again from there, it can do foot movement and then cross a blockage. It doesn't need to be doing the wheeled movement. But it states at first that if you can get closer to where you're going, you use the wheeled movement if you can, which means we've got to stay on the kind of road, or even if it was open hexes, but we can't go through blockage with it. I have to remember that actually tracked movement can go through blockage. Not that we've got any of these in this scenario, but it costs 6 movement points to go over to move through a blockage hex. So however, wheeled can't. So right, so what did I say? A 6 or greater is going to fail this roll. So let's just do this on the D10. Looking for less than a 6. And we get a 7. So no. So we fail at that. Now that doesn't mark us finished, is my belief. It doesn't succeed at identifying that. And we now aren't forced to react. Well, we can't react anyway because you can't fire at intel markers. So basically nothing more is going to happen, and that's that. So, okay, so they've finished. It would normally be back over to us, but because we're not allowed to do anything, it's going to cycle back to them again. That's my take on it. Seems to be what's going to happen. So it's going to be back to them, but this time we've got to prioritise which and these is going to go next. Now, again, this could just be a die roll, actually, couldn't it? But it doesn't have to be one of the infantry ones. That was just for the very first one that moved. It says that it's going to be one of them. Oh, that was a thing. Hang on. No, that doesn't say that in there. Oh, yeah, no, it does. It does. Right, here's the thing here. I'm still a little bit confused by this, but you know how I was talking about... let's just zoom out here because I've got stuff to come in here. I was talking about the whole how these are mobilised, and we can see there that they come with a motor mechanised part here. We can see here though, when I looked here, the historical mode's got truck. It's got truck after every one of them. Apart from this one down the bottom, funnily enough, but anyway. When I compared that to just the this very first one times officer, 3 times Panzer Grenadier truck, right? And we just go and move down to that scenario number 3, and we see that this one lists it as 1 times officer, 3 times Panzer Grenadier motorised. No mention of a truck in brackets. So why is that different to that? Could it just, well, I think I'm just making things up here. Could it just be that it's starting off just by reminding you that it's got the truck on the back and that's why it's in brackets? I don't think there's anything to tell us anything marked in brackets. See, there's not even a bit at the beginning of this book that tells you how to read these things. It just starts right away and that's that. Whether there's anything in the sole rules that tell you about why that's in brackets and what it means, I don't think I've come across that either. However, so I wondered about that, but here, see when we look at the actual scenario, now this is in the main game box, this is for the 2-player game, and this is, of course, it's still relevant to what we're doing. This tells you about things and whatever, and although these order of battles are here, but however, look at the German order of battle. Every one of them has truck in brackets. So, well, why don't we look at scenario 3 then, Grant? Well, I'm going to have to hunt that down. Hang on. Right, so here is scenario 3. And there's a German order of battle there. And yeah. 1 times officer, 3 times Panzer Grenadier, motorised. So, no mention of truck. And there's another little bit there. See, there's veterans shown in brackets. Now, I understand that. It means these are veteran and they get marked accordingly. The fact it's in brackets makes me sort of think, well, hold on here, Grant. Could there be something that tells us about this, how to look at the scenarios and what the brackets mean? Yes. Main rulebook then. Hang on. So this isn't the main rulebook. This is under scenarios, page 21, rule 10. I've read right through this, and there's nothing. It tells you about parenthesis. You'll see here that things in parenthesis. Well, unfortunately, our example doesn't have the word truck. If it just had that, it's got veterans, so, which is kind of annoying. But anyway, after the company identification, a number in parenthesis may be shown, in this case times 3. And here's the wee example down here that they're talking about. I think this is from one of the other games, strangely enough. Yeah, I think this is Italian stuff, isn't it? Anyway, whatever, it doesn't really matter, does it? So this is that was talking to there, times 3. So we'd obviously get 1 officer, 3 times B inter, 1 times 6.3 machine gun, and then you get 3 sets of them. I know all that. It also then mentions, without going back up to the rule bit, the last part, a few letters in parenthesis may be shown. These letters refer to the idea of each officer that should be used for these companies. In this case, A, B, and C. So you would have to use A, B, and C. If it didn't have letters there, and it carries on by saying that, if there isn't any ID letters, the officer has to be selected randomly. So all the scenarios we've had up, the 2 scenarios we've had up to now, they've just been randomly. There was no letters after it. But here you'll see the veterans in brackets. So when it continues the example and it's going through how you select them, I'm assuming in here it'll tell us about the veteran. Yes, if we continue with the order battle example, we have to deploy the elements of the duty column. In this case, veteran companies are deployed. So it is grabbing that veteran, and I would get that, understand that. However, this bit that's got truck in brackets really does make me think that we should be using some kind of truck rather than assuming it's because I feel like I could still roll, and these could be airborne divisions, that airborne companies that come out. But then again, the actual scenario, the order of battle for the scenario only includes Panzer Grenadiers. So, but I still, again, the other thing is there's no trucks in the game that I've seen. Maybe I should look a bit closer just in case I'm missing the obvious. Oh, you know what? I am. Well, hang on, that's Germans though. It looks like I found some American ones. See, I have been putting them in the. Yeah, I did think I'd seen one. Look, that's. I mean, my guess is that would be as a truck because it's got it on both sides. It's not that it's a flip over thing. So, sure, the Germans must have some of them then, Grant. Well, you know what? If they do, I don't know where they are. Well, let me pause and have a closer look. Well, that didn't take long. I found one already. I clearly did not look carefully enough. I do want to say that there's maybe not that many of them then. Because I'm looking and I've still got these in baggies and it's all the vehicles, all the tanks. Yeah, there's another one there. So there is trucks. Right. So, well, what do I do here? Yeah, I'm still not sure how to deal with this though. Now that I know that there is truck counters, that's good to know, but if I roll and get a Panzer Grenadier company, it's got its own intrinsic it's got its own vehicle, with it. It comes with it, and it just flips over, and you just embark on put the infantry on that. I mean, it costs you. I think it costs you movement points or actions to actually do all that, but we'll look into that. But do I use that for them if I get them? And if I get the airborne, do I use just the trucks? Or the fact that they all say truck beside them, do I have to use it as just a normal basic truck like them, rather than using intrinsic side of it? I don't know. There's nothing clear that says any of that. I mean, it did mention, where was that? I'm not going to find that. Mechanised. Well, hang on, it's under that tells you about the intel markers. Give me a second here. Motorised mechanised markers have a double use. The front is used to identify intel markers carrying vehicles for transport, so they may use wheel track movement in addition to foot movement. Okay, it wasn't that bit though. Wait till I find it. Yeah, it's when we reveal it, isn't it? Page 17, intelligence markers, movement. Any AI force with a motorised/mechanised marker can move using wheel track movement instead of foot movement if the movement is safe. Intel markers don't need to do mount, dismount or limber operations. These markers will be placed on the intel markers if the setup rules for historical scenarios specifies so. Right, and it carries on over the page here. I think it's page 20. That rings a bell. Yeah, on page 20 it says any intel marker with a motorised mechanised marker, this is when we're identifying it, should be replaced by a compatible company. So, and then it's got in brackets motorcycle, mechanised or motorised, right? So that suggests that if we roll and get the Panzer Grenadier motorised company, then that's fine. They just come along because they're compatible. However, or it should be equipped with trucks, one per platoon for transportation/towing purposes if available. So, but the fact that it's got trucks, maybe they should all come with trucks. I don't know. Yeah, and while we're on that towing, I want to say, now I haven't went and confirmed that, but I get the feeling that's what that T means, that it needs to be towed. And well, it's got its own, truck, but maybe you should find exactly what that means rather than just guessing, Grant. That was handy. I was just one page away from that. I just flipped the page and it's got a wee description here. It says maybe transported. That's what that T means. So maybe transported. And you can see it, it's got its own transporter with it anyway. So that would just flip over however that works. Let's say I don't know if it costs a full action or if it costs movement points to do that. So yeah, kind of. Well, I could ask that on the main page, actually. But then why would... See, the thing is, we're using the intel marker, so we're going to roll, but if I was using the historical start, then I would have 1 times officer, 3 times panzer grenadier, truck. Well, I could ask that question on BGG. I could ask that. Why has it got the word truck in brackets? And in fact, this one's got wagon. What is that? I wonder if that's on the back of it. Let me see. So there's a German 105mm artillery thing. Let me go and find that. I cannot find... I went right through my whole counter mix and I cannot find these 105mm FH18 art. I mean, unless it's a small counter rather than a large one. But I certainly wouldn't have thought that any kind of vehicle, they're always the bigger counter. I cannot find them at all. They're nowhere to be found. Okay, I'm gonna try and find out about this. And yeah, just ask the question on BGG under the Normandy page. Why has it got a reference in truck in brackets? Does that mean that they come with one of the Opel Blitz trucks or whatever they're called? Actually, no, that's a German version. The American version has one of these. GMC CCKW. So does that mean it comes with that? Or the fact that it's Panzer Grenadier, it's got its own one built in. So, and then maybe ask where this is. Right, back in a sec. Right, I've been on pause for quite a few hours there. We were taking the dogs out. Did pop that question out there? I can't remember if I'd said that or not. So I just had the camera on pause. The question regarding the rows, wasn't it? Yeah, what was that? Yeah, the truck part and all that. Yeah. And also I did another question again on the main Normandy page. I've not got answers to either of them yet. So, and that was regarding the that's 105mm LE.FH18. I cannot find the counters anywhere. There must be at least 2 of them, because there's 2 of them historically in there. So basically asking if anybody's got an image of it that could maybe highlight that will jump out to me, and I'll maybe find it easier. Or maybe some info on if it's somebody else has got an issue with it and doesn't have that counter for some reason. I was wondering if is there another chart regarding vehicle. Well, these aren't vehicles, are they? So I just wonder if I'm leaving stuff in here that... No, see, that's sort of... I mean, there might be in the other box. I don't think there's any on my list of all the images of all the... of the counters in the game anyway, so... Anyway, I don't know what that is. It's just when I looked at this... I mean, we've not got around to identifying... Well, it's not on the map yet anyway. That's the ATRA one. Well, you can see here that if we happen to roll that... Oh no, that's a 75mm. Right, where's the 100mm? Yeah, there. So if we happen to roll a 3, 4 or a 5... or a 6, 7 or an 8... we're going to need to find this LE FH18. Because there's 2 of them appears on the 3, 4, 5 roll, and one of them appears on the 6, 7, 8 roll. So I don't know what it is. So I'm assuming it must be there, because it's not. Yeah, I mean, it should be in the game. So it's maybe just me being silly, However, right, I want to see if I can finish off a part here. I do need to take another break shortly. So I was hoping to just complete a part though. So the US are doing nothing. They done this, so it's back to the Germans again. So we've got to prioritise which one of these four are coming on. I don't know if there's anything that picks between them or not. Activation priority chart, yeah. But there might be. I don't know. The fact they're all intel markers, probably not. Well, we're looking at the first half because they are on the rush, so they're on the offensive. There's nothing routed. There's not a 2 action marker. There's nothing up to 3 X's away from an objective. Nothing up to 3 X's. I mean, they're all off the map here, Grant. I don't think you're going to find anything. Something closest to finished. Yeah, forces. No, it's just a roll of dice, this, isn't it? Well, secondary. But again, that, like I say, from that one, going by that example, it looks like it uses that one and basically uses it as closest to an objective hex. It doesn't really make much sense to me anyway, but highest FF now that could be something. Maybe that it's just the sheet chart that I was just looking at. They're annoyingly hard to pick up off the table. Charts everywhere here. So remember, we've got infantry. Oh no, it's not that one. It's the other one I need. After all that as well. Check that up there. It's this one. Just to see if there's a difference in the firepower, because we've got an infantry A. Well, that's allies. It's the bottom section there, Grant. An infantry A, which has got 21. We've got 2 infantries, so they're 21. We've got a mortar, so it's 14 AP and 10 artillery. So that's less than the infantry. And then we've got an ATRA, which is 11 for art and 8 for AT. So I take it we just use to be honest, I think the fact that all the targets are going to be AP. So that does tend to give you a priority that it should be one of the infantry platoons then. Infantry intel markers, yeah? With the secondary action there. Priorities. AI forces with the highest FF against the closest player platoons. Yeah, so I'm going to say we're going to select one of the infantry units, and then the next time we activate, we're going to select the 3rd infantry unit. Yeah. Okay, and they're both going to be identical, these two. So maybe just roll between them. But I'll just take the first one. I mean, let's say, I've no idea what's on the other side of either of them, so it doesn't really matter. So okay, we've got our priority there, and he's going to be more mechanized as well, as is the I'll actually just leave them like that just now. And we've got one more high activity level marker. We were only getting 2 of them, so he's going to get that. And the rest are only going to get medium ones. So do we really need to go through the orders here? Because surely it's going to be something similar. Well, find a target, Grant. Honestly, see, finding everything here. Right, got the orders. Okay, so we got the orders chart. It's going to be exactly the same though, isn't it? Intel marker, out of spawn range, offensive. It's going to be in here. Oh well, we've got to roll a dice still. Now with this one, any modifiers apply? No. There's not even an intel marker adjacent, so no, nothing there. So this is a D10. So we're going to roll on this. 1 to 4 assault, 5 to 10 advance. Right, 9. So again, that's going to be an advance anyway. I get the feeling assault is probably going to go through the flowchart and come out at advance anyway, but it's probably what's going to happen. Okay, so yeah, so we've got advance, so flip this over, look at this again. May it perform, may it perform a safe assault? No. Well, I suppose that's asking safe assault. But first of all, may attack with MFF without moving? No. May perform a safe assault? No. Select a target. So we're going to select a target again, which is the closest hex where it may attack with MFF. So this time, well, that's going to be a bit trickier, isn't it? Because we've already worked out we cannot move through the bocage if we move wheeled. Wheeled. We've got 13 movement points wheeled. We would only have 4 if we go on foot. That would allow us to cross bocage, but you can see that's not going to get us far enough. And in fact, does it not say that you use wheeled if you can get closer to your target? So, but we've got to find the target hex. Now, it might be that... No, because we can't put that as a target hex, I don't believe, because there's already an intel marker in it. Yeah, and that's not necessarily going to move it because it can fire from there next turn, maybe. Does that mean it's this then? But then that's not going to be safe movement to there. But that could still be the target hex. And then the answer to safe movement will be a no, and we could follow on from there. Is there any hex that we can get that's... Right, we clearly didn't move to there. Why didn't it move to there? Because that was the closest. This is not going to be a hex that's got MFF. It's not going to have line of sight. This, however, would be, and this is from hex 800, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 away. And this one down here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 away. So this might be the target. And the reason this wasn't the target for this one is because he could go here, and that was closer to where it started. That says the closest hex where they may attack with MFF. So I actually think it could be there. Now, is there any issues in intel markers moving through other intel markers? Well, hold on though. Well, closest hex with the AI force may attack with MFF, and divisor 345 or divisor 2 if it cannot be attacked with MFF or make a safe assault. Right. Yeah, I possibly didn't really look through that. I find this bit easier to see, easier to read in the rulebook. So this is advanced movement. I'm just finding that again. Determine the target, which is the closest hex where an AI force can attack with MFF or perform a safe assault with a divisor value of 3, 4, 5 or 2 if that AI force cannot be reached with MFF. Yeah. So it moved into a 2, but it cannot be reached with MFF from him. Because the MFF... The maximum fire that he can react with is... Well, hold on here though, Grant. Maybe that is wrong. Because I considered this before. It doesn't say about reacting to it. It just says if that AI force cannot be reached with MFF. If these American forces were to open up on that right now, if they were allowed to, they don't get a turn, but they could gain the initiative in the next turn and be able to fire first. If they were, they've got 18 cut in half to 9. So they've actually got 9 firing into there. So is that wrong? What does it say on the... How does it word it here on the player aid? I think it words it better in the rules, to be honest, but let's just see. The closest hex where the AI force may attack with MFF, and remember his MFF is going to be, it's 21, but it'll be cut in half at longer range. That's still going to be 21 as 10 and a half rounded up to 11. So, and divisor 3, 4, or 5. Now, I'm assuming that means the target hex that he's moving to. Well, it's not a 3, 4, or 5. We thought he was going to move into a 3 into that field, but then we realised he couldn't cross the bocage. So it's not a 3 or 4 or 5, but however, it is a 2 or divisor 2 if it cannot be attacked with MFF. If it cannot be attacked with MFF or make a safe assault. Right. Damn. Like I say, the first part about this is, does this mean it cannot be attacked right now when it moves to that hex? You know, if the American units react, they react with a strength of 5, which is not MFF. Is it? MFF is 6 for a divisor of 2. So it's 5. So right now it can't, but it doesn't really word it that way, does it? I mean, if it means that when the dust is settled and we now look at that American unit and it's his turn to go, if it means can it now attack that German intel marker with MFF, well, the answer to that is going to be yes, because it's only going to be cut in half now, not quarter. So it's going to be 9. And 9 on a divisor of 2 is MFF. MFF is 6. So it depends how you're reading that, though. I think I wanted to read it like I'm starting to think now, that because it just says if it cannot be attacked. Whereas I'm sure, does it not word it in other places that it talks about reacting if it can't be reacted? I might be wrong with that, of course. And in the rule book, words are pretty much the same there. Or 2 if that AI force cannot be... Well, 2 if that AI force cannot be reached with MFF. Well, there you go. There's a different word in there, reached. But... okay. That feels like another question brewing. Maybe I'm gonna just end this part without doing anything else and just pop another question out there. It'd be a good time to do it because I'm having to take another little break. So, but I don't hold hope answers coming back that quick for these, to be honest. However, the other bit of this is, or divisor 2 if it cannot be attacked with MFF, or make a safe assault. So what's there's safe assault requirements. So is that saying that when we've moved to here, let's assume that it means reaction and they cannot hit us with MFF right now. Now it might be that that's wrong. I think I will go and ask this question. This could change everything here totally. And I don't think this guy would even move that. He wouldn't move up there if that was the case. However, it does say or safe assault. So, I mean, although he's marked finish right now, could he make a safe assault from there? Well, of course, assault rules are all kind of new to us. We've not done it yet. I mean, I have read it, but here's safe assault requirements. It says safe movement requirements are fulfilled. So it's got to be able to move with safe movement at first, which says that they may not react. Well, they could react, and it says that if they react, players may react up to 6 in hexes, up to 6. Yeah, well, it's definitely going to be more than 6, isn't it? Because safe movement from there for us is as soon as I move into there, he can fire with half firepower. He can react with half firepower, and that's 9. So as soon as I move into there, I mean, safe assault, if I moved into this hex, it's just the same. You can, it's not that I can take a different route. The other things regarding safe assault, but I mean, that stops it from happening right away. So, yeah, it looks like we've blundered here. Here's the other things. Hand-to-hand combat and armor support. The odds ratio is 1 to 2 or higher. But, why am I considering... I have to consider that just now. What does it say in the rulebook about that? Determine the target. The closest hex when AI force can attack the MFF or perform a safe assault. Right, it doesn't mention that. Oh, hold on. That or make a safe assault is a different thing, because it's the other way about it in the rule book. I think what this means, and I'm glad, because it wasn't really making that much sense to me, that the closest hex where the AI force may attack with MFF, right, and divisors 3, 4 or 5, or divisors 2 if it cannot be attacked with MFF. And then this or then means or make a safe assault. So it means the closest hex where it can make a safe assault. Yeah? I think. Target the closest hex where it may attack with MFF or make a safe assault. I think so, because I think the way it's worded in the rulebook makes it come across a bit different. Sorry, I know I'm going over this, but the closest hex when an AI force can attack with MFF or perform a safe assault with a divisor value of 3, 4, 5, or 2 if that AI force cannot be reached with MFF. Yeah. So you can see the safe assault, the way it's worded in the player aid there makes it sound a little different, or it might just be the way I'm reading it. It doesn't mean that if the divisor's 2 and it cannot attack by MFF or make a safe assault, that's a condition. It's not. It's the other way about. So I'm just reading that wrong. I don't know if you're getting me, you're grasping what I'm meaning there or not, but it looks like I was reading that wrong. I think I prefer to read it that way. So that was still the closest hex where he can attack with MFF. However, the question that needs asked is it breaking the rule of, because it's in a divisor of 2, this AI force can reach it. If he's reacting right now, he can only reach it with 5 firepower. However, if it's not talking about reacting, if it's just talking about what can that attack it with, then it's going to be 10, isn't it? And then that is going to be MFF. AI force cannot be reached with MFF. Okay. I need to know the answer to that. Or I need to make a decision on what way I'm looking at. And I'm sure I started playing the game with the understanding that the way that was worded meant that it wasn't talking about reaction, it was talking about, but I kind of feel like it probably is talking about reaction. Okay, so yeah, I come back at 20 odd minutes there to try and finish, well, I'm going to finish this part here, but with hopefully another bit of gameplay and moving somebody else onto the map, but I need to find out about this as well. and this is important. So I either need an answer or I'm going to have to make a decision for myself. What I will be able to do though is while I'm away, I'm going to have the chance to watch back on this part, and then I'll get it uploaded right away. So if anybody wants to give their opinion on what if that should be regarding the reaction right now, or just the strength that would have attacking us. And bearing in mind, I mean, we know the Americans can't do anything this turn, and it is going to go back to the Germans, but that's not really what it's asking. If it does mean that they've got, if it's straight up firepower rather than reaction firepower, then I kind of need to know the answer, even though that they're not going to be able to do it. If you get my, if you grasp what I'm saying there. Okay, but I'm going to be back for another couple of parts later, so quicker I get the answer to that, then we can move on. The worry being that I don't get the answer and I've got to decide myself, so and that's going to be a tough one, because I don't think that's written. If I give the benefit of doubt to, I don't know how I can deal with that one. Right, let me get away and get the question asked then as well, and that's better time out there and whatever. But if anybody wants to chime in with their thoughts on that one, because I might not get a reply, and then I'll take what you've got, guys. Okay, I'll be back later. Cheers.